Hello, welcome. I am Kelly Hearn, and today we are talking about taking action while you learn to lead. So, I am Kelly Hearn with Transitional Leadership, and I help individuals and businesses implement leadership and career development to foster a greater impact. And today we are really going to focus in on that word implement because this is all about taking action. And if you have ever considered coaching or accountability groups or masterminds, things like that, this is going to be where it's at for you today because this is going to feel a little bit more like a coaching conversation. Disclaimer up front, you're going to get a little bit of tough love from me. And we all need that now and then. We all need a little bit of the kick in the pants to make sure that we are doing what we need to do and doing what we said we were going to do, right? That's all about the accountability for your actions. So, in the blog this week, if you have been over there and linked to the video from there, you already know, but we talked specifically about Jared. And Jared was a client of mine who really had to go from being very passive in his learning of leadership to taking a really active approach. He came to me with sort of this I'll sit at your feet mentality and just learn and absorb all of the things before I have to lead people. And unfortunately, that's not how it works. You can watch all of these videos. You can go back and read all of the blogs that I've written. You can buy every single book in the library that I have on the website. And even far beyond me, you can go and get this from any expert you want. And just absorbing it all, just drinking it all in, isn't going to work. You will not be a great leader just by taking it all in. You have to take the action. Just like you can watch all of the YouTube videos you want on riding a bike, but you will never make it down that single track on a mountain without actually getting on the bike, right? Because it takes more than taking it in, it takes more than passively learning. You have to get active. But in the blog, I really just focus on Jared's experience. I really just give you the value that our coaching brought to him, but also the value of what his active mentality, once we got that mindset shift in place, that was the focus of the blog. And so I wanted to expand that a little bit more because while I think it's valuable to look at one case study and focus on, in this case, Jared, I think that there's also a lot of value in understanding other people's perspectives because while some of what he experienced was universal, most people don't come just thinking, I'll just absorb everything you have. So most people do understand that there's some piece of activity, some piece of action that they need to take in order to be good at anything. And in our case, leadership. And so I wanted to share a couple other stories for you that might highlight some different values that it brought, some different challenges that people face that might resonate with you as well. So, first of all, we have Jen. And Jen is a wonderful client that I have worked with in the past. And when she came to me, she had so many ideas. She had so many of the right thought processes. It wasn't necessarily a mindset shift that she needed. She knew a lot of what would get her where she wanted to be as a leader. The problem was she knew a lot and she wanted to make a lot of changes. And so for Jen, it wasn't that I had to teach her a lot. It's that she was just feeling so overwhelmed and under so much pressure to get it all fixed and get it all done. Now, who hasn't come into a role like that, right? Where you know everything that needs to be fixed. You have a solution in your head for every problem that you're seeing, but it's like whack-a-mole, and you're not actually making progress on any of them because you're so distracted by just how many problems there are. And so in Jen's case, it was more about prioritizing what to tackle first and understanding that that was going to create this domino effect. That if she started in a measured and methodical way to focus on one piece and then the next piece, each would get consecutively easier as she worked down the path if she did them in the right order, if she learned the right base level skills to create this accelerated domino effect. And so for Jen, her action looked like getting organized. The action that she needed to take looked like creating a prioritized list. And that was something that we were able to work through together to say, I understand that this is important, but it's not as time sensitive. It's not as critical as this other thing over here. So we're going to move that down in the priority list. And she has seen so much progress in what she wanted to have happen in her company, in her organization, and in her specific department as well, because she was able to make those shifts in an organized and, like I said, a methodical way. Now, I have another client, Becky, whose problem was very, very different. She almost had the reverse issue from Jen. So she was incredibly organized. She knew exactly what she needed to do and when. The problem was she had these negative voices coming at her, and they were stilling all of her progress, all of the action that she could have been taking as a leader on the project. She was losing out on because of these negative voices that were coming towards her. Now, for a lot of us, those negative voices truly live inside our heads. It's not necessarily someone saying the words to us. And unfortunately, in Becky's case, it was. It was people sitting at the table with her, and as she is presenting where she believes the next steps are to see the best progress on the team and within their department. And they are telling her no, and they're telling her that she doesn't know what she's talking about. And because, she's an up and comer, and that's really nice and all, she doesn't have the vantage point of senior leadership. She doesn't have the experience to be able to know how this is going to go in the end. And so they're just, brushing her off. And so for Becky, it wasn't about reorganizing. Her prioritization skills were impeccable. For her, it was about communication and making sure that she was prepared for any audience, that she had the communication styles dialed in to influence any group, whether that was going up, kitty corner, down, sideways, anywhere, that she was prepared to speak to each of these groups and each of these people specifically. And that's a really tough one to do, because when you potentially already have these insecurities, maybe you are young, maybe you do have the smallest title at the table, maybe, it's true that you don't have all the experience in the world. You can start to get these feelings of imposter syndrome or unworthiness. But do you know what the antidote to that is? Because it isn't, showing the gyms of the world that they are discrediting you or that they have a bias. That's not going to help you. That's never going to help you if you're the person that they are discrediting. I know that might be an unpopular opinion, but it's just not. What's going to help you is proving them wrong, is taking the action, is doing the work to prove that they are not right in the bias that they have. They might still think that, women in their 20s don't have the experience to do the work. Fine. But they will remember that Becky was the outlier, that Becky got it done, that Becky knew her stuff. That is the way to make the change if you're Becky. Now, if you're other people, if you're Becky's allies, that's a different story. Then, challenge the biases. But for Becky herself, take the action, do the work, prove that you have it all together, and prove it to yourself too, so that you can stop listening to the gyms of the world. Now, I do want to kind of bring it back around to Jared, because another piece of Jared's story, which again, if you're in the blog, but his boss gave him the unfortunate gift of really direct feedback that he was failing. Jared's boss told him that he was failing with the team and that his goals were falling short. He was not going to be successful in this role. Now, that was really hard for Jared to hear, but I'm smiling because it helped him to move forward. It helped him to realize that he did need to take action. He did need to lead his team in a different way. And it wasn't just going to be to read another book. It wasn't going to be to find another video about, the right way to motivate a team. He needed to take action steps to develop trust so that his team was motivated to follow what he was saying. He needed to learn different ways to cascade the message to them so that even if they didn't like it, they felt like it was a useful, good use of their time to do what was being asked of them. And so if you're Jared, if you are lucky enough to have gotten that really clear, direct feedback, whether it's from your boss or a peer, or maybe someone who reports to you even, that you are failing in some aspect, man, what a gift. What a gift to be able to know clearly how you are coming across to people and what they need instead. And so through working together and taking that really useful, imperfect action, Jared was able to make an impact with that team and he was able to get them back on track, which is fantastic. If you want more of the details on that, click the link below to go over to the blog and you can read all about it. But for the purpose of this video, I want you to just understand that if you are like Jen and feeling overwhelmed, if you are like Becky and feeling like, man, you are not enough, if you're like Jared and someone tells you you're failing, none of those are the end. Those are only the beginning. If you are getting those feelings, if you're getting that specific feedback, you can take steps forward. And if you don't know where to start, then I want to encourage you to take that next action of just clicking the link below to schedule 30 minutes with me. That's it, 30 minutes, totally free. We can figure out what that next right step is for you. It might be working with me in coaching. It might be going to a group coaching seminar. It might be practicing a very basic skill like the communication framework that we have the video in here for. But just passively absorbing the information isn't going to do it. You have to take some action to get movement, to make impact, to make the change that you want to see, either for yourself or for your team. So again, if you are not sure where to start, I really want to encourage you to click that button to schedule 30 minutes with me so that we can help find the place for you to start. All right, I hope that this video is helpful for you today. I hope that you are leaving this video feeling inspired to take action and then actually go do it. And if this message was on point and you know that you are already in the action taking phase and you're thinking, man, Kelly, totally preaching to the choir, I am all over it, then share this with a friend who maybe isn't yet. Share this with someone who does need to take a little bit more action to learn to lead in a more impactful way. All right. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.